All right, guys, welcome to my 2022 Formula One livery tier list. We've got all the cars here, including Alfa Romeo's testing livery, Alpine's special pink livery for the first two races, and Haas's non-Uralkali branded one, which we'll probably get another Haas livery. So since doing this on stream, Haas has updated their livery, as well as the McLaren updated their livery. So they're at the end of the video as well. I'll be running polls for the viewers to vote on in chat in the top right, and then we're going to be doing a viewer tier list as well. So you guys will see what the viewers rate all the liveries on average, obviously, with everyone in the chat, and then what I personally think. Now, I'm going to preface this by saying every livery is so good this season. Like, there is no bad livery. Now, honestly, if I wanted to, I would not put a livery in D. I do not think any livery is bad this season, and I don't want to put any in D. But for the sake of the video, for the sake of the tier list, for the sake of spreading them out, I am going to use all 5 tiers. AlphaTauri. When this first got announced, it was one of the midway, it was like the 5th car to get announced, I think. 4th, 5th. And when it got announced, I was like, yo, this is fucking sick. And then once all the other liveries got announced, and once we showed up to the track, I was kind of like, it didn't hit the same as it initially did. I do like it a lot, but when you compare it to some of the other liveries on the grid, it's not as high. So for me, I'm going to put it in B. Like the livery, like the design they're winning. My favorite AlphaTauri out of the 3. Better than 2020, better than 2021. This is my favorite AlphaTauri livery. It's very sleek, but again, I think the matte look kind of just makes it look average. You know, it's typical AlphaTauri. They finished 5th, 6th in the standings, and now the livery is the exact same, just a mid-tier livery to suit their team. So you guys, majority have voted at B as well. So let's move AlphaTauri up into B on your guys' tier list. So same right now. Next up, we've got Alfa Romeo's actual livery for the season, the red and white, and oh my lord, we need to take a look at this in full. This is sexy, in my opinion. It's used the red, the candy red, the white is nice, the gloss. This proves when you have a glossy livery, it is so nice. This is the olden day Alfa Romeo logo. They brought it back for the F1 car. Oh my lord, the actual pictures of it out on track are so hot. Now, keep in mind, obviously, this has a LUT on the picture, but the black wing, the white little thing, the red, it's so nice, man. It is so nice. So for me, it is not the best liveries on the grid, but it is definitely an A. All right, we're in the poll there. A has come in clutch in the end, so 42%, 47% say A. Next up, we've got the Alfa Romeo testing livery, and I'm not gonna lie, I don't know why this livery was hyped up at all. Maybe it's iconic because of the way the livery is, because like a lot of teams use this for their testing liveries in the past, but I don't know. Again, I don't think it's terrible. No, I think it's terrible, to be honest. If there was a livery that I could put in a tier below D, it would be this one. So for me, the Alfa Romeo testing livery was disgusting. I didn't get the appeal for it personally. Yeah, majority 60% in D. So once again, we're the same. Is this what's gonna happen? We're just gonna be the same now? Next up, we've got the big boy Aston Martin, and oh my lord, when this car got announced, I did not think there was gonna be a car that was gonna beat this or come close to it. And obviously, as the reveals went on, a lot more cars did really, really well as they came out on track, but for me, there's no thought process at all. It's 100% an S. This is one of the best liveries, I think, in Formula One ever. It's just, it matches Aston Martin so well. This year, they fixed all the problems. What was the problems with the 2021 livery? The sponsors weren't big enough, so they fixed the sponsor, and the placements were bad. So they fixed the sponsor placements, made them bigger this year. The green was too dull. Now they've made the green more vibrant. Everyone hated the pink, or the pink got boring. They've now got the lime green. The contrast is so nice. And yeah, they solved all 3 problems, and the livery looks fucking phenomenal. Yeah, majority of people gone with top of the tier list. And once again, you guys agreeing with me. All right, next up, we have got the Red Bull livery. Now, when this got revealed, I was in shock. For anyone who watches my streams or my videos a lot, you will know that I absolutely love the Red Bull livery of the last, 5-6 years. The branding, it is a Red Bull. You look at that car, I see a Red Bull. That design of the last like 5-6 years that we've had is my favorite livery concept of the in the entirety of Formula One. So obviously my standards are very high for the Red Bull. So when it got shown at the reveal, I was so disappointed. The big banana nose, the way the Oracle was on the side of the car, it was just, I was so let down. And then it showed up on track, and oh my lord, was it a worlds different. The big banana yellow nose was gone. The front wing looked better. The Oracle was placed so much better. It looks so dominant. Like, look at that. That is such... I don't know how the livery changes so much. One, in real life, once the cars come out in real life, but also just on the shape of the car. And yeah, for me, sticking to my usual feeling about the Red Bull livery, yes, I do have to admit, because Red Bull has done this livery for 5-6 years now, it's the same thing, just essentially placed on the new cars. It does get a little bit boring. And if this is my first time seeing the livery, it would probably be an S. Because of repetition and, you know, just kind of slowly getting bored of it, or not bored of it, but used to it, it's not an S, but it is still a top tier livery. I love it. It's my favorite livery in all of Formula 1, or favorite, like, concept of livery in all of Formula 1. But once again, you guys have put Red Bull into A. We're literally got the same tier list right now. We're on to the Alpine liveries. Now, Alpine has 2 liveries. One is for the majority of the season, and one is the pink one that will be used for the first 2 races of the season. Alpine was my favorite livery of 2021. I loved it so much. It was so good. It was S tier. So this year, my standards were very high, and they showed up with essentially the same car, which sounds like a good thing, but they put pink all over it, and it just makes me sad, man. It just makes me sad. I'm not a big fan of the Racing Point. I'm not a big fan of that pink color. I'm not a big fan of the big BWT logo. We got to be thankful that BWT has blue in it, otherwise it would look even worse. At first, when the car was first revealed, I was like, D tier. Not even think about it. It is in D, no matter what. But as it's come out on track, I've got to put it in C tier. I've got to. I think it looks quite nice out on track, the way the blue shines. Just like the reason I liked the Alpine in 2021. And the pink does look quite nice. Sort of. You guys have also put it into C. Bruh, it's just the exact same. Let's move on to the Alpine Special / pink livery, the one that they're going to use at the first 2 races of the season, Bahrain and Saudi Arabia. Thank God they're not using it at the Oz Grand Prix, because otherwise my eyes would have bled RL. And here it is. Here it is. The Alpine was definitely one of the worst, and this pink livery for me goes in D. It is definitely one of the worst of the year. I hate that pink. I think the pink looks ugly in real life. I think it's been incorporated badly. I think it just looks like a mess. It does not appeal to me at all. So for me, it goes in D. You guys have put the Alpine pink livery in D as well. Next, we've got the Williams 2022 livery. I don't know how I feel about this livery still. When Williams first got revealed, I was disgusted. Then they brought out the renders, which is the one you can see in this photo here, and it was so nice, man. The render was so nice, and then it came out on track, and it's kind of a mix in between. But when it came out on track, I feel like the front nose was better. The shape of the nose, the livery just wrapped around the car better. So relative to every other livery on the grid, I've got to put it in C. Not bad, just not as good as other liveries this year, in my opinion. So that's why I put it in C personally. Finally, the tier list is different. You guys have put the Williams into B. Next up, we have got Mercedes. This is a really weird one. The reveal had some really weird lighting. The car was quite, well, it was the car that we had at testing. It was quite slim. And then in the render, they had this really high quality render with perfect lighting, completely different shape of the car. And don't get me wrong, the render looked fantastic, but it was clearly a render. Like, the lighting was too good to be true, just like the Williams. And I knew for a fact that it would not look like that on track. Then it came out on track, and it kind of didn't look like the render. It kind of didn't look like the reveal. It was a very white gray. It was a very bright silver. Like, not even bright. It was just white. It was whitey. It was a milky silver. It was a little bit of a letdown for me, I'm not gonna lie. The Mercedes black livery was amazing. Now, the problem with that, though, was the black livery was a unique thing for 2020. It was meant to be for 2020. Black Lives Matter, We Race as One. It was meant to be a one-off special livery. And then they brought it into 2021. And it was like, it's not as special anymore, you know? To the point where people now want Mercedes to stay as a black team with a black livery. But Mercedes is great. They've always been the silver arrows. They suit the gray so much. And I was so hoping they went back to gray. And they did. But I just feel they could have done so much better. The red doesn't look good. The gray is way too milky. Petronas, unfortunately, changed their logo color, which means the teal along the side of the car isn't as bright. It's a bit dull. So yeah, for me, I don't think the livery's bad, but I don't think it's as good as previous years or the other liveries on the grid. So for me, I'm going to put it in B. Very, very split, this one. Mercedes goes into B as well. I'll probably say top from your guys voting, but we'll do the sorting for you guys later. So Haas just completely went away from their Haas branding, and I hated it. Now, the livery didn't look too bad, but for me, branding is very important, and the design of the car, it was just very boring. So this year, I was hoping that the Haas would go back to its Haas direction, or I don't know, just maybe make a bit more of a better design using the blue, white, and red. I would say, sorry, the Haas this year has a better design than 2021, but I'm still let down, you know what I mean? I still don't think I look at that Uralkali Haas and go, that's a Haas. It doesn't look like a Haas to me, and it doesn't look like a nice F1 car. Then it showed up on track, and it looks really, really good. So I'm really torn. It's like, is it a bad livery? Its branding's bad. It kind of looks boring, but it looks kind of good in real life. I think for me, I'm going to put it in C, but at the bottom end. I do think it's not as good as the Alpine or the Williams. We've got 28% voting C, and then we've got a big whopping 40% voting D. So you guys have put the Haas Uralkali in D. All right, so that means we're now onto the non-Uralkali Haas. For all we know, this could be the livery that they rock for the season. And if it is, I'm going to be so fucking disappointed because I don't think it looks terrible. It's just so plain and empty. Again, I don't think it's bad. I am going to put it into D though, because I do think it is one of the worst liveries of this year. So you guys have put the Haas into, what is it, B tier? All right, next up, we have got the Ferrari. Now, no thinking about it. No, I don't need to talk about this more. Straight up to S. Which one's better though? We'll talk about it in a minute. I think the general consensus of this car and livery is one of the best Ferrari liveries of all time. It's a classic. They've taken that nice red that we all know and love about the Ferrari, that dark, rich red. They've taken the black and they've got the implements of the yellow because of the shell, and they've just constructed a beautiful livery. Is Ferrari better than Aston Martin? Which livery is my favorite livery of the season? Is it Aston Martin or is it Ferrari? I cannot make a decision. I genuinely can't. I might have to, I think we're going to have to do a little bit more research here to make my decision. The front of the Ferrari really lets it down. I think there's a little bit there's not enough sponsors here, and the rear wing being empty is very disappointing. But the side of the car, perfect. That is so nice. It is so nice. And then you go over to the Aston Martin and look at that. It's so clean. It's so sleek. Modern, vibey. Oh, the black front wing. Look at it in real life. It's so phenomenal. Look at that. It's so nice. Side on, Ferrari wins without a doubt. Front on, Aston Martin wins without a doubt. Okay. I think I made my decision up purely because the Aston Martin has less things I would change. I'm going to put Aston Martin as my favorite livery of 2022. But again, I can't decide. They're so good. They're so good. They're the favorite. They're equal. They're tied. They're tied. They're tied S. They're tied S. You can't make a decision. Let's end your guys' poll there. So majority of you guys voting S. We've got 60% voting S. There's going to be so many mixed opinions about this livery, so I saved it for last. The McLaren 2022 livery. I think they have the best color palette on the grid. 100%. Not the colors on the car. Their branding, their graphics, their race suit is phenomenal. I was so hyped. I woke up at 5 a.m. in the morning ready for this car to get revealed, and then it got revealed. And as it was getting revealed, I said, there is no way they can disappoint me with these colors. And somehow they disappoint me. I don't know how they managed it. The blue is so washed out. The orange is so faded. And they didn't even use the black. Sorry, they didn't even use the gray on their overalls. They used black. It then came out on track, and part of me felt like it looked better. Part of me felt like it looked worse. And I think that's a bad thing. I think if your car looks different in different light, different color, temperature of the sun, depending on clouds, whether it's in the shadows, out of the shadows, depending on the photo of the camera, like their paint job is fucked. It looks like a glow in the dark paint. I just don't like the livery. I don't like the livery. It may grow on me. It may grow on me, but it's not grown on me since the reveal. It's got to go in C. It's not going to go in D. I still think it's, after everything I said, I still think it's better than the pink Alpine and the Haas and the testing livery, but it's got to go in C. But I do think it just barely edges out the Alpine. Damn, you guys put a lot in B. Holy fuck. So yeah, that's your guys' tier list done. Ferrari on top with Aston Martin. Alfa Romeo third with Red Bull in fourth. You got McLaren high up in B. Mercedes, AlphaTauri, Williams, Haas, the plain Haas. Then Alpine all by itself in C with the pink Alpine, the Uralkali Haas, and the testing Alpha all in D. So Haas has now gone back to a little bit more of their roots with red coming back into it predominantly. I quite like it, although it does look a lot like Alfa Romeo to me. And it's nothing too crazy. It's just a nice livery. So for me, I do think it's better than their original, 2022 design. And I do think it's better than the McLaren and even the Alpine. I'd probably put it here. I don't think it's as good as as the Williams, though. The Williams, when the lights hits it, oh, it's just perfect. And then McLaren has shown up with an updated livery as well. A few of the things that I was complaining about got fixed. More gray black being used, more sponsors being used, the rear wing having more gray on it. I quite like it. It's still very, very messy to me though, so it's still gonna stay in C tier, but I think it's gonna be above a C tier now. Like, but yeah, I can't put it in the same tier as Mercedes or AlphaTauri. And while we're here, I'm gonna do a couple of changes. You saw me in the video not being able to make my mind up between the Ferrari and Aston Martin, and after watching all the testing, I'm sorry, Ferrari's #1 livery this season. You know, it just beats out the Aston Martin, but I've made my decision. That car is just too sexy on the side, and from front on, they're just equal. So, yeah, that's my 2022 livery tier list. I appreciate you guys all watching the video. Please be sure to subscribe if you haven't already, and hit the like button down below. Leave a comment. Let me know what you guys think about these liveries. Do you agree? Do you disagree? I appreciate you guys for tuning in. I'll see you in the next one.
Now that